What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we have the keys to this brand new 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe, and we're going to take a full look at this family SUV. And the model that we're looking at today is an XRT 2.5L all-wheel drive, finished off in Hampton Gray, and has an MSRP at $35,400. Underneath the hood of the 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe, you're going to find a 2.5 liter inline 4-cylinder naturally aspirated engine. It pumps out 191 horsepower and 181 pound-feet of torque, and is paired to a 8-speed automatic transmission. All of the power is sent through the H-Track all-wheel drive system, and with a curb weight around 3,900 pounds and running on an 18.8 gallon fuel tank, you're looking at 22 miles per gallon in the city with 25 out on the highway. The overall length is 188.4 inches with wheelbase at 108.9. Width is 74.8 and height is 67.3 inches. Moving on to the exterior styling, with this brand new Hyundai Santa Fe, the exterior paint color has a really cool look, and then especially with all the gloss black trim. We get a set of LED headlights with LED daytime running lights. They have a very unique look, and the headlights are actually down here in these 4 squares. You can see the turn signal as well. Then we get a massive grille with gloss black in the lower side and a really large opening in the center for maximum cooling. We have a pretty cool design for all of the mesh and your chrome Hyundai logo right in the center. The lower portion of the grille also has a large opening for maximum cooling, and we get a metallic gray color for the lower trim piece and then black trim on the farthest sides. I really like the sharp lines you're going to see in the front end. It certainly gives us a unique and sporty appearance. And then you can see how the top portion of the bumper flows its way over the grille and blends seamlessly to this hood. There's a sharp line on the farthest side, and then 2 sharp lines in the center with a lot of smooth bodywork all around. You can even see how the front bumper flows its way to the side profile, really giving it a wider front end appearance. And then moving to the side, there's a set of 18-inch wheels finished off in satin black with a multi-spoke design. I really love the XRT trim level, especially with the blacked out look. You can see the black plastic around the front and rear fender arch, as well as the lower portion of these doors with a little bit of molding. There's sharp lines in the center portion of the doors and sharp lines running around these front and rear fender arches. This also gets a set of body colored door handles with brushed aluminum trim on the top, and then gloss black for your mirror caps with an LED turn signal all integrated. There's more brushed aluminum running around all of the windows with blacked out B and C pillars just to blend all of the glass seamlessly. Up top we have a set of roof rails with roof racks, and you see the gloss black trim. Taking a look at the overall side profile, I really like the sharp line running from the taillights all the way to the headlight. It gives it a sporty sharp appearance from the side, and there's a pretty good proportional look. And then moving to the rear end, we have a body colored shark fin antenna up top, an integrated spoiler with some gloss black and body colored. The integrated third brake light is right on the top with the windshield wiper on the lower side of the glass. The rear end has some sharp lines that match the rest of this car, and you can see the LED taillights finished off in red, really looking nice the way they're integrated. You can see how there's even a red piece connecting them to give it that modern look. We have a Hyundai logo right in the center with a standard backup camera, Santa Fe logo to the left, H-Track logo on the right, and then a really sharp line in the lower portion of the liftgate. The bumper itself is finished off in this black plastic, and you can see that same satin gray trim in the lower side of the bumper like we saw up front, with a massive reflector all through the center, and then finishing it up with the right side exit exhaust. So there's a good look at the exterior with the 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe. Comment below, what do you guys think of this trim level? It's kind of the middle spec. It definitely has a nice sporty look, and I love this color. It really looks good with all the lines. So you have Hyundai's key fob, we get the logo on one side, and then all of your buttons. If I go ahead and lock the car, and then hold down on the engine start stop button, we do get remote start. It'll roar to life as you can hear. And then if I just press the button once, it'll automatically shut off. And with the car lock, keeping the key fob in my pocket, I can just grab the door handle, it'll automatically unlock, and we can check out this interior. This particular spec gets a black fabric interior with some silver trim, as well as a carbon fiber look design all throughout. Moving to the door panel, it's finished off in black. We get the smooth black leather with a little bit of stitching for the armrest, as well as a grab handle up front, all the window controls and mirror controls with lock and unlock, brushed aluminum color for the release handle, and then this carbon fiber look design up top. You can also see we have a ton of storage space down below, and I really like these neat contours within the speaker mesh. If we move inside, you can see how the running boards protrude outward to give you a pretty good step. Then we get Santa Fe on this door sill. While being fabric seats, we still get full power controls. All the controls are on the left side here, along with lumbar support. You can see we get some color contrast stitching and a really cool texture in the center, as well as a design. Kind of looks like denim, and it's actually very soft and smooth. It's a stain resistant material as well. Moving up the backrest, you can see all the textures, pretty large bolsters back here, and more of that design up top to the headrest. Spinning around, we get a black leather steering wheel with silver trim. And then now inside the Santa Fe, keep my foot on the brake, we can go ahead and fire it up. You can see how we have a full LCD screen for the gauge cluster. It's over a foot large. We have our tach over on the right side with your speedometer to the left. You can see some information in the lower side for your outside temperature, instant MPG, as well as the odometer and range. Right in the center, we have a configurable screen with our digital readout for the speed, and you can configure that using the controls on the right side for this pages icon, as well as up and down. So if we take a look in the center here, if I tap that pages icon, you can scroll left and right and see all the different settings. Up and down in this menu, you can see some of the safety for the lane keeping and the attention level. We have the speed readout. You can go into more things like trip information and things like that. Then tapping that again, we have all the settings that you can go into and adjust a few parameters within the car. And then we have information like your torque division with all four wheels, and then even the tire pressure. Moving to the actual steering wheel now, over on the left side, we have a lot of the Bluetooth and audio controls, as well as your mode. And then on the right, we have all the cruise control settings with the lane keeping, steering intervention. And then on the back side of the steering wheel, we have a set of paddle shifters. We have the stock over on the right side for all of the windshield wipers, and then turn signal and headlights on the left. To the left of the actual steering wheel, we have the interior dimming, lane keeping assist. You can see the tailgate release, as well as traction control, and an electronic parking brake. We have one of your air vents and a smooth design running through the dashboard. Has a really cool contoured look. I like how you have like a shelf right here and then that carbon fiber look design. There's a little bit of storage here with the leather and stitching. Then you can see how all the air vents match and look very nice in the center. And then moving to this 8-inch touchscreen display, we have an all menu button over on this left side. You can see a lot of the different settings like your blue link. You can go under the climate controls and adjust everything using the screen. You can see how everything looks, and we have our controls down there, of course, and as I tap the icon, it'll change on the screen. Same with your temperature. So I like the integration there, pretty user-friendly looking. Going back to home, we can go back to this main screen here and scroll through to a few more things. If I go ahead and put the car into reverse, your standard backup camera will come up with all of your guidelines, and you can tap this icon over here and it'll adjust the view for a top-down. We have a settings icon in the lower side where you can adjust a few different things, and then we can just close right out of there and then go ahead and put us back into park. On the screen itself, on the left and right, we have all these different shortcut icons. This one you can actually configure. I've set it to home. We have your radio and media, and then all the track icons over on the right with a tuning dial, and then on, off, and volume on this left. You can see hazards in the center, and then a closer look at all the climate controls, dual zone climate control. You can sync them, the defrost, everything. You can even just shut it off. We have your drive mode selector down here, which is just all buttons. And then on this far right side, you can see your downhill assist, a shortcut to the camera systems whenever you'd like to see that. And then we have our drive modes in the center. We have a comfort mode, sport, snow, and then all the way into smart mode. And then on the gauge cluster, it will change. You can see how comfort mode looks like this. Sport mode has a pretty cool animation, and then snow mode goes back to a normal look. So it's nice to see that in an SUV like this. And then along with that, we have your engine start-stop feature, auto brake hold, a locking differential button, and then heated seats. And then a good look at this carbon fiber look design, wireless charging and storage right here. And then if you open this up, we get another cup holder along with USB ports. And then underneath the center console, we have a ton of storage space in here with USB ports, so you could even fit like a smaller purse or something underneath that. We have a silver button you can press, and we get a pretty good amount of space in here for the center console with a removable shelf. And then to take a look at the actual glove box, pretty large bucket as you would expect. And then one last look at the interior, very clean and simple in here. Hyundai does a good job just making things nice. And you can see how the seats look, really cool fabric design. And of course, being a mid-level car, you get a pretty good amount of options without going overboard. And then up top, you can see all of your dome lights with the controls. And then moving to the rear seat space, if I grab the door handle and open it up, the door panel is finished off just like we saw up front, and then we get the addition of a manual sunshade. I can hook this up on the top, does a really good job covering the entire piece of glass. And then moving inside, we get all the same fabric with the cool two-tone design with all the neat textures. This is a 3-seater bench row. And then looking up front for the amenities, we get 2 air vents in the center with 2 USB ports. And then the handle on the left side will double as your recline lever, but you can also pull it up and these will fold down and lock into place nice and flat. So sitting now in the back of this Hyundai Santa Fe, this is a pretty roomy family SUV. So I'm 5'11" and I have like 3 or 4 inches of headroom. And then with the driver's seat set at my height, I have a ton of knee room and foot room. And I really like how much this thing reclines. So even in the all the way up position, it's a little straight up for my comfort, but it can recline quite a lot. And if you look at it next to that seat, you can see just how comfortable it is. Very roomy. This would be a pretty good family road trip car. And then right in the center, you can grab the center backrest and pull this out. And we get a good little armrest with 2 cup holders and even some extra storage space. Moving to the storage space now, you can hold down the button on the key fob, use the one underneath the Hyundai logo on the liftgate, or of course that one on the interior. It automatically opens up and we get a ton of storage space in here, nice and squared off for larger items and things like that. And I really like how there's even hidden storage space. If you lift this up, you can see your jack with a little cubby on the left side. And then this center section, when you lift this up, you have 3 storage areas, which would be great to even double this as a cooler. And then I really like we have a 12 volt on the right and then 2 buttons you can press. And these seats are gonna automatically unlock and fold forwards and lock down. That's a really cool feature, the way everything works like that. And you can see just how much more storage space we have. Going through the side door to see everything. With these seats locked down, you still get space up in front. You can even use this little cubby on the right side, and it really shows you how practical of an SUV this is. All right guys, so we are setting off now with the 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe. Now I've driven the Limited that has the turbo engine, which is pretty much the same engine as this, just with more power with a turbocharger. This one's kind of the mid-level car. You get a few sporty touches, but nothing too crazy fancy. So as we hit some speed bumps, let's talk about the suspension. Going 25 over that, not slowing down. I will say it's a really smooth ride. I've had this for a few days now, and it seems to be a pretty comfortable car just to rack up miles and to use for the family. Next bump. You know, it's one of those cars, you go fast over them, it absorbs the bumps really well. And just driving on this smooth little back road, we're only getting up to 30 just now. It's a nice and smooth SUV to pilot. Sitting in the seats, they're really comfortable. I like the padding to them, and with the power adjustments for the driver, you can really move them in pretty much any which way you'd like. And then let's feel out the engine in just a second. So we don't get the turbo option on here. We'll go into the sport mode. We get the really cool gauges, and just hitting the paddle once, it'll go into the manual mode. So we'll get up to some speed and feel it out. And we do get the all-wheel drive, which I think is a really good touch. So I will say, it's not fast at all. The turbo engine, I drove that, and it is a pretty quick vehicle. This one, not really fast at all. There's really no power. I'm glad it at least has an 8-speed automatic instead of just a CVT. The power is easy to manage. You know, the transmission does a good job shifting through the gears, and it's just a pretty effortless acceleration. It's not a fast acceleration, but it gets you up to some speed. If I give it some gas. So clearly you're not buying this car for any sort of quicker accelerating. If you want that, get the turbo engine that's going to feel a little bit more meaty to it. But nonetheless, you know, it's an adequate power plant to get up and go and just cruising, daily driving, just cruising up on the highway, maybe some city driving, stop and go, stuff like that. You know, it'll do the thing and still get you some pretty good gas mileage. As far as the view out, we get a really large windshield, and you really don't see the hood, so you just have a straight view as what is in front of you. And then I like the little small windows over in the corners, and the mirrors all do a good job of letting me know what's going on behind me. And looking over your right and left shoulders, great view over the left. On the right side, that passenger headrest is a little bit big. It'd be nice if you could fold that down, but nonetheless, pretty good 360 view around the car. And then taking a sharp turn and getting back up to some speed. The fact that we get the all-wheel drive is really good, especially for inclement weather or snow driving or something like that. And of course, we have the snow mode to really help manage that traction and grip. But for normal driving, you know, that's really what this car is. It's a normal car to drive, and it has plenty of room. Sitting in here, like I said, you can get really comfortable. You have pretty good storage areas all around. You know, armrests are in a great place. It's a car that you can just be in, daily drive to work and back, you know, have the kids in the back or something like that. As far as like road installation, we're on kind of a bumpy road right now. You do hear some things. It's not a luxury, you know, super refined vehicle, But again, it's $35,000, which is a pretty good bargain, especially for an SUV that's this large. This is a good medium-sized vehicle. Give it some more gas. So yeah, not the most power or the best engine sound out of it. But like I said, you know, for the price point, this is below the average cost of a new car in today's market. So it's actually really cheap to buy one of these. And you can spec it higher, like I said, with different trim levels, the limited and the calligraphy, or you can even tone it down. I believe base price is less than 30 grand. And that's one of the biggest things with Hyundai. You can get so much car for the money. For, you know, $35,000, how many SUVs like this can you get that still have some good creature comforts like Apple CarPlay, you know, backup camera, digital display and things like that, you know, cool drive modes, heated seats. It's a pretty capable vehicle. So then switching over to the POV to immerse yourself in the 2022 Santa Fe. Like I said, really good view out. You can see how that headrest is a little big, but overall, you know, pretty good. We also get a pretty good amount of ride height in this car. So we have a really steep intersection. We'll go over some train tracks. It's nice with an SUV like this, especially with all-wheel drive. It's pretty capable, and even going down something so steep, obviously no issues there. Hopefully you can tell how steep that was. But we'll go into the sport mode again. So yeah, not exactly big in the power department. I personally would stick with the turbo engine just because you really do get a good punch from that one. But we also get the nice cruise control, just one button, it automatically turns on, and with the steering wheel assist, it actually does a really good job keeping you in your lane. It'll keep this whole turn going and everything, and I like how the distance pacing, just one button, and you have all sorts of different settings. So as you can see, it's doing a really good job. Of course, it tells me to keep my hands on the wheel, so if you just give it a little bit of a pull to where it knows that you're doing something, it'll turn that warning off. But it does a really good job of that. And with the distance pacing, I'm not even hitting the brake, and it automatically sees that car. Some SUVs and some other vehicles that are even way more expensive, they don't really do a good job if you're coming up to a car that's not moving. This seems to do a great job. If I have cruise control on and the distance pacing is all the way out, if they're stopped, this can see it way in advance to where you're obviously going to be able to brake in time, and it's not going to feel abrupt. So the cruise control on this is fantastic. I've really enjoyed using that. But yeah, like I said, pretty normal car. It's crazy I can just drive it with no hands. Of course, paying attention though. But it's nice how it just seems to have a lot of the good technology that you're gonna want for such a good price, and it's a very practical and roomy car. Really cool design. It doesn't really look like any other SUV out there on the road, so it certainly stands out. Interior, you know, nothing too crazy fancy. You can get higher trim levels if you want a little bit more luxury, but really good fit and finish overall. It's what you would expect, and for the money, you really cannot beat it. I think they just did a good job giving you an affordable option, especially in today's crazy market, and something that's pretty usable for the whole family. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, a full look at this Santa Fe. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned for plenty more content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.